Every month, the paycheck arrives like proof that the system is working exactly as promised. Hours were traded, numbers were calculated, and money appeared right on schedule again. It feels fair, predictable, even comforting in a world that otherwise feels unstable. But comfort is often the first layer of a trap designed to keep questions quiet. For most people, salary feels like progress measured in digits and decimals. A raise feels like winning. Bonus feels like momentum. Promotion feels like arrival. Yet year after year, something strange keeps happening beneath the celebration. Life keeps getting more expensive faster than wages ever seem to grow. Rent climbs, groceries inflate, insurance premiums swell, and interest quietly eats the margins. The paycheck rises in steps, while costs rise like a moving escalator beneath your feet. You are technically earning more, yet functionally standing in the same financial place. That isn't bad luck, and it isn't mismanagement, it is structural by design. Wages are not meant to build wealth. They are meant to sustain labor. They keep workers functioning, returning tomorrow, but rarely escaping the cycle permanently. The system rewards productivity, not ownership, and salary is productivity priced tightly. Wealth comes from assets that rise faster than wages, not from wages themselves. For decades, productivity in America has surged while wages barely followed behind. Workers produce more per hour than ever, yet capture less of the value created. The gap didn't vanish. It flowed upward into profits, assets, and financial instruments. Salary became the cost of labor, not the share of prosperity. Inflation is the silent accomplice that makes this trap nearly invisible. It reduces purchasing power quietly, without headlines or dramatic collapses. A dollar still looks like a dollar, but it buys less every year. Wages chase inflation, but always arrive late to the race. Even disciplined savers discover the problem once they try to outrun it. Saving cash feels responsible, but inflation slowly dissolves stored effort over time. Interest on savings rarely beats rising prices after taxes are paid. The system punishes caution while rewarding leverage and asset exposure. Debt then enters the picture, disguised as opportunity rather than necessity. Student loans promise futures, mortgages promise stability, credit promises flexibility, but debt converts future labor into collateral owned by someone else today. Your salary becomes pre-allocated long before it ever reaches your account. Once debt exists, wages lose freedom and gain obligation. Payments come before choices, before investments, before risk-taking of any kind. The worker becomes predictable, stable, and controllable, perfect for system continuity. This is not conspiracy. It is incentive alignment built into financial architecture. Meanwhile, assets inflate faster precisely because wages are trapped servicing debt. Housing rises because mortgages extend purchasing power beyond income reality. Stocks rise because capital seeks returns detached from labor constraints. Those who already own assets benefit from wage stagnation below them. This is why working harder rarely changes outcomes in modern economies. Effort increases income marginally, but assets multiply wealth exponentially. The latter exists, but its rungs are priced above salaries intentionally. Wages keep you climbing while ownership decides who reaches the top. The cruel irony is that salaries are marketed as safety. Steady income feels safer than volatile markets or entrepreneurial uncertainty. But safety without upside becomes stagnation disguised as stability over time. The trap isn't poverty, it's permanent financial motion without meaningful escape. By the time most workers realize this, the system already owns their calendar. Raises feel smaller, savings feel weaker, and options feel increasingly narrow. The salary keeps arriving, but progress feels strangely absent. That feeling is not failure, it is awareness beginning to surface. Because once you see the trap, the question changes entirely. It is no longer, how do I earn more? But, why does earning more change nothing? And the answer lives not in effort, but in structure. That structure was never built to let wages win. Once you understand wages are capped, the system's real engine becomes easier to recognize. That engine is ownership, leverage, and access to assets that inflate faster than labor. Money flows toward what compounds, not what clocks hours reliably. And the system is designed to ensure most people never cross that line. Assets rise because they are fed by debt, policy, and central bank support. Homes inflate because mortgages extend purchasing power beyond wages. Stocks inflate because liquidity flows upward during every crisis and rescue. Wages inflate last, after prices, profits, and balance sheets already adjusted. This is why crises widen inequality instead of correcting it. When recessions hit, workers lose jobs while asset holders receive bailouts. Stimulus stabilizes markets first, households later, if at all. The system protects capital because capital keeps the machine alive. Every major crisis proves this pattern without exception. In 2008, homeowners collapsed while banks were rescued overnight. In 2020, workers paused while markets recovered within months. In every cycle, salaries absorb shock while assets absorb recovery. The illusion is that hard work leads to ownership eventually, but ownership increasingly requires leverage unavailable to wage earners. Down payments rise faster than savings. Prices outrun disciplined effort. The finish line moves precisely because wages are trapped behind inflation. Pensions once bridged this gap, turning wages into future asset ownership. But pensions shifted into market-dependent vehicles with hidden risks and fees. Workers now shoulder volatility while institutions manage upside quietly. Retirement became another wager tied to systems workers cannot control. Meanwhile, financial education focuses on budgeting instead of structure. You're taught to cut costs, question housing inflation. You're told to hustle, not to examine monetary expansion. The system survives by framing outcomes as personal responsibility failures. Even taxes reinforce the imbalance between wages and wealth. Labor income is taxed immediately, while asset gains are deferred or discounted. Capital enjoys patience. Wages face urgency and constant extraction. The system quietly signals which income it values more. Technology was supposed to free workers from this cycle. Instead, it accelerated productivity while concentrating ownership further. Platforms scaled without sharing equity, turning labor into replaceable inputs. The digital economy magnified returns for owners, not participants. Over time, the salary becomes psychological containment. It provides just enough stability to discourage rebellion or risk-taking, just enough predictability to delay structural questioning, just enough hope to keep participation voluntary. This is why job security is praised more than financial independence. Security keeps systems stable. Independence threatens predictability. The safest worker is one with obligations, deadlines, and limited options. Freedom is expensive because it disrupts reliable cash flows upward. Breaking the trap is not about quitting work or rejecting income. It is about understanding that wages alone cannot build resilience. Without ownership, savings erode and effort stagnates against inflation. The system ensures this unless intentionally countered. Ownership doesn't always mean businesses or real estate. It means exposure to assets that compound faster than monetary dilution. It means equity, optionality, and participation in growth, not just output. Wages sustain life. Ownership changes trajectory. The tragedy is that most people learn this too late. After decades of labor, inflation quietly extracted future purchasing power. After loyalty, systems changed rules without consent. After effort, outcomes felt disconnected from merit. This isn't cynicism, it's financial realism history keeps confirming. Every era rewards those who understand structure over those who trust appearances. The system doesn't collapse because wages suffer. It collapses only when capital loses confidence. That is why understanding this trap matters now more than ever. Inflation is structural, debt is permanent, and wages remain reactive. The future belongs to those who see incentives clearly, not to those who simply work harder inside them. The salary trap isn't about laziness or ambition. It's about a system designed to extract stability from labor. History shows the same pattern repeating under new names, and those who understand it early always move differently. If this gave you a new way to see money, work, and power, subscribe. History has already mapped the system. I'll show you how to read it.